What's going on, everybody? What's going on? All right, back again with another video, and this is gonna be another flavor for you, a little bit of different style, and this is gonna be for the intellectuals, the people who like to see some type of facts on a broad scale. You know what I'm saying? I think everybody, I know everybody is spiritual in some sense, but I'm doing this one for the intellectuals and the people who are analytically inclined. And I did this one book report style. All right. So this video right here is going to be focusing on the truth and the mysteries of Buddha. All right. We're going to focus on Buddha today because I have to show you that there's a difference between God and religion. Okay, I gotta show you this. So, bear with me and just take it smooth. I'm gonna try to make this one as easy as possible and as fast as possible. So let's jump right into it. All right, book report. All right. My main man, Buddha, all right, his real name was actually Siddhartha Gautama. And I'm sure I'm not pronouncing that right, but that was his real name, AKA Buddha. That means the enlightened one. So actually, Buddha is really just a definition. The man was actually named this right here, Siddhartha Gautama. And his philosophy, his main focus was fasting. People suffer because they want things. That's what Buddha was all about. Buddha was born in a rich caste system in India, and he was born in the second caste system. Okay, and he pretty much he was rich. You know what I'm saying? There was a seer. A seer is like a fortune teller, somewhat. And when Buddha was born, or when Siddhartha was born, the seer told his family that he was going to be an enlightened one. He prophesied that he was going to be enlightened. And when he was born, his father, knowing that he would be enlightened, believing the seer, protected him. He kept him away from the world. He kept him inside. Buddha was surrounded by, beautiful women with jewelry and riches, getting fanned, eating grapes, the whole 9 yards. But something in Buddha was just like, something is not clicking. So Buddha took a step outside the kingdom, and what he realized was he saw some suffering, and it hurt him to his heart. He saw some death. He saw some homelessness. He saw some pain and anguish. And he was just like, man, I've been living a dream. There's no way that all this is happening, all this suffering around me. And it hurt him. So Buddha wanted to figure out why this suffering was existing. So let's jump right in. Book report style, y'all. So let me just go ahead and read this thoroughly through. Gautama Buddha was a spiritual teacher in the ancient Indian subcontinent. Let me just pause for a minute. And the historical founder of Buddhism. He is universally recognized by Buddhists as the supreme Buddha of our age. The time of his birth and death are unclear, but most modern scholars have him living between approximately 563 and it's funny how they do this, but this is before Christ. But what they want to do is act like Christ don't exist. So they just say before Christian era. Now, when I was in school, it was before Christ. That's all it was. But now they're trying to take Christ out the picture. I think that's kind of funny and interesting. I think it's kind of weird too. But BCE is before Christian era, as if Christ is insignificant. All right. 563 BCE and 483 BCE. All right. By tradition, he was born with the name Siddhartha Gautama, and after a quest for the truth behind the life and death, underwent a transformative spiritual change that led him to claim the name Buddha. He didn't claim the name, by the way, y'all. This is what's in the research. They gave him the name Buddha. Buddha means enlightened one, awakened one. They gave him the name. He didn't claim it. They gave it to him. The people that was around him. He is also commonly known as Sakyamuni, the saga of the Sakya clan, and as the Tathagata, thus come one. All right. Gautama is the key figure in Buddhism, and accounts of his life, discourses, and monastic rules were summarized after his death and memorized by the Sangha. Passed down by oral tradition, the Tripitaka, the collection of discourses attributed to Gautama, was committed to writing about 400 years later. All right, so that don't mean nothing. The point is that he has substantial history. That's the main point. All right. But when you really look at Buddha, the truth about Buddha, the truth about Siddhartha, he was a cool brother, man. He felt pain. He felt for the other people. You know what I'm saying? This was not the religious. This had nothing to do with religious. His quest. He was simply chosen by God to go on this quest. If you take everything out, Buddha himself was chosen by God. They pumped him up. The other people pumped Buddha up, pumped Siddhartha up. They did that. But him himself, if you just look at his life without the religion, they pumped him up. So just think about that. Now, when you take everything out, let's look at Buddha's actual philosophy and his teachings and what he came to be. Because he set out, when he saw that suffering, he set out. He cut his hair off. He had long hair. He gave his jewelry away. He denounced his rich, wealthy life. You know what I'm saying? And that's something in them times you can't just get back. Back in them days, you can't just get that back. He denounced it, went out, and he literally starved himself. He fasted. Okay? He felt people want things. People suffer because they want things. So he went on a serious fast. And what he found out was that's not the best way to go. And then he filled himself up with food, and he figured out, well, that's indulgence. So what he found was a doctrine called the middle way. And that was his doctrine. That was to him because it made sense. You can't go to both extremes and just go with it. You can't be too light and you can't be too dark. You can't be too heavy. You can't be too light. You see what I'm saying? The polarities. You can't be on both spectrums. The goal is to be in the middle, and that's true harmony. That was his mind frame. I mean, it's simple. All right, let's check out his philosophies. All right, these are just some key points, and I got the website that I got this from. All right, I got the website that I got that from. There's a documentation for you intellectuals, and I really don't mind people being intellectual, and I understand it. You know what I'm saying? I'm intellectual, I'm spiritual, the whole nine. But I do understand that people need some type of proof. So, you know, let's give y'all some proof. This one right here is for the intellectuals, okay? I'm gonna hit you with some knowledge though, from the spiritual side, from the scriptures. You know I'm gonna come back to the scriptures every time. All right, but here's Buddha's philosophies. All wrongdoing arises because of mind. If mind is transformed, can wrongdoing remain? That's what this brother came into. No one taught him this. This brother was walking with God. That's what he was doing. Simple as that. He wasn't religious. He was literally out in the field walking with God. That's what he was doing. There's a twist to this. Here's another point. This is Buddha's teaching. This is what he believed in. This is what he came to on his quest. Believe nothing, no matter where you read it or who said it, no matter if I have said it, unless it agrees with your own reason and your own common sense. Come on, man. That's truth right there. I'm not going to agree with everything just because. That's why I'm doing all this research. And you shouldn't either. That's truth. That's true. My man Buddha was just a cool brother, man. who loved God and loved people. He did this because he saw suffering in other people. That's why he went on this quest. Here's another one. Hatred does not cease by hatred, but only by love. This is the eternal rule. So if you look at that and then you look at religion, no one taught Buddha this. This was his quest outside of him, outside of what he was used to. He went on his quest with God. See what I mean? He went in searching for his spirituality, for mankind. And if God said it was us, that he went out to help other people, that's togetherness right there. And I'm not trying to really glue things together, but my point is to show you that Buddha himself, Siddhartha, was not a religious person. I'm going to show you where the religion actually came into. All right. And I gave you guys the website, but what I want to basically point out, and I don't have time to read all this, but you can. I want to point out that Buddha was representing the middle way, because he went on a serious fast and then he went on a serious indulgence, and he found that both wasn't basically true. He found the middle way without anyone telling him this. He went out into the wilderness by himself. And it's funny that Jesus did that too. But let me not tie Jesus in just yet. All right. But the point is, when Buddha was doing all this stuff, he had some followers. And it says, and I gave y'all the website, but when the great Mauryan emperor Asoka converted to Buddhism in the 3rd century BC, the young, inconsequential religion spread like wildfire through India and beyond. It's just like, as soon as an emperor or a serious governmental leader believes in something, he establishes it as a religion. But if you look at Buddha's life, if you look at Siddhartha by himself, he was not a religious person. I'm telling you, man, look at it. Look at the mystery and the secrets behind what he was doing versus what they did. They made him above and beyond. The people did that. It says the Mauryan Empire, Asoka, converted to Buddhism. He was the emperor. He made everybody believe what they did. See, that's what I'm saying. But that's still from God. Siddhartha was a prophet in that territory, but he was not a religious person. They made him religious. They made him, his name wasn't even Buddha. People really think that his name is Buddha. No, he was an actual brother, man, from India, who gave up his riches. And then when he was enlightened, he could have just kept it to himself. But guess what he did? He went out and got more disciples to preach. He preached. He showed people the way. He showed people the lifestyle. You cannot put God in a box. You just got to get out of religion. And we're going to do some more book reports. You know what I'm saying? But I'm doing this for the intellectual people, man. I'm not doing this just for the people who already believe in God, because I'm not looking for people who already believe in God. I'm looking for people who don't believe in God to save them. You know what I'm saying? It's not just about Jesus Christ. It's about everybody believing in God. Jesus was to show us that it was about love with God. Jesus is not religious. Buddha wasn't religious. The government made them a religion. So you got to understand that. And I'm not talking about the recent government. I'm talking about government, period. Now let's keep going. All right? I try to keep these short. All right. So Buddha started pretty much right here. All right. This is where Buddha was preaching and practicing. All right. Bihar, Nepal. You know what I'm saying? Well, now we just seen what happened in Nepal, that earthquake, right? Let me tell you why that earthquake happened. It's not because of Buddhism. It's because of this right here. This is why. This is why it happened. This is why that earthquake happened. Y'all see this? What this is what you call is folks building statues and worshiping the actual, like, no crap statue. They would actually bow down to the statue. But look at it from God's perspective. Use your heart, use your mind, and figure out why God would be mad at that. God looking at this as, this ain't nothing but rocks. It's nothing but rocks. Look, think about it. And when I had this picture, it was in color, but I didn't have a printer. But look at these people. Look at this. It was gold. It was gold. When I printed this out, when I saw it on the computer, it was gold. And that's not even the real Buddha. First of all, Buddha was skinny because all he did was fast. If all you did was fast, you ain't gonna be a fat person. You're gonna be skinny. You know what I'm saying? That was more of what Buddha looked like. He was from India. He was not Asian. Well, you know what I mean by Asian. I mean Oriental. He was from India. So if anything, Buddha looked like that. And then that was gold. That was gold. Look at what's going on, people. They worshiping this gold. God is like, man, it's rocks. That's how God see it. He see it as rocks. So you got to understand, that's why God be so mad. And that's what happened in Nepal maybe a month ago when all that stuff crumbled down. But if you look at Buddha by himself, if you look at Siddhartha, he ain't had nothing to do with that religion. He was literally searching for God. See, that's what I'm trying to say. God is not religion. God is truth. Now, let me show you what God felt about that. All right. We're going to jump in Exodus. All right. Chapter 20. And let's read. Now, Exodus is when God delivered the people from Egypt. Egypt was some rock worshipers too. You know what I'm saying? And that's why y'all people who be talking about that Nubian black thing, that black people come from Africa, so let's go to the Egyptian side of worship. That's the wrong thing to do. That's what God was freeing them from. Think about it. Egyptians be doing orgies. Egyptians be doing homosexuality. I'm talking about ancient Egypt. They was doing witchcraft, magic, worshiping statues. That's not where we from as black people. That's not where we from as God's people. God was freeing us from that. That's why Moses freed them from Egypt. Come on, man. Y'all know better than that. All right, so let's just jump back into it. Then God, this is after he freed them from Egypt, and they were still complaining. But that's something for y'all to do y'all research. We is in Exodus chapter 20. Then God spoke all these words. He spoke it through Moses. Moses had to tell him. So Moses went down to the people and told them. Then God spoke all these words. I am the Lord your God who brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of slavery. You shall have no other gods before me. You know what that means, y'all? That means there was other gods. And I'm going to do a video on that. But guess what? Look at that. That God is lowercase, but this God is uppercase. And that's all throughout the Bible. That's how you distinguish the real God versus the fake gods. And I'm going to do a video on that sometime in the future, all right? I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. But you shall not have no other gods before me. You shall not make for yourself an idol, whether in the form of anything that is in heaven above, whether in the form of anything that is in heaven above. Okay, so why do we got these depictions of Jesus Christ already? Think about that. It's a trick. And that's all I got to say. God just said that. Don't make any graven images of things in the heavens above. So what you think is Jesus Christ is not him. It's a deception, y'all. Or that is on the earth beneath. That means don't make depictions of Satan. Satan is not the devil horn man. Do not make depictions of or graven images of that person. God telling us the truth right here. We got to be conscious of this stuff. Or that is in the water under the earth. Don't that sound like Zeus, Hades, and Poseidon? Y'all see what I'm talking about? Do y'all see what I'm talking about? He just said heaven above, earth beneath, under the sea. People is trying to make these illustrations out of these gods. And God is saying, yeah, they might exist, but don't make graven images of them because you're gonna trick people. You see what I mean? It's all a trick. Making images of Jesus is wrong. That's what God is telling us. So it's not, God is not religious. That's what I'm trying to tell you guys. He wants you to love him and don't be tricked by this stuff. All right. You shall not bow down to them or worship them. Y'all hear that? Exodus 20, verse 5. You shall not bow down to them or worship them. It's that simple, y'all. Look at that. It's that simple. Y'all know this, folks, is serious business. Y'all know this is the truth. For I am your God and am a jealous God, punishing children for the iniquity of parents to the third and the fourth generation of those who reject me. Why would God say that? God is smart. God passes smart judgment. The reason why he passes judgment on people is because when they go against God, he has to punish them, because when people reject God, they corrupt other people. They corrupt other God-fearing people. People who are lost and really want to seek God, the people who know God and simply reject them, reject him. When you know God and you say no, that's rejecting God straight up. When you don't know God and you searching, you want a certain pedestal. But when you actually know God and reject him, you corrupt other people. That's why God said he had to punish them. God is not a God that be just doing stuff for no reason. He will kill you. He will kill you. But it's going to be just. It's going to be just. And he's going to give you multiple chances. So let's keep going. But showing steadfast love, look at that, steadfast love to the thousandth generation of those who love me and keep my commandment. So what does that mean? He just said, love me and keep my commandment. First, you got to show yourself approved to understand his commandment. And God changes with the seasons. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to do a video on changing with the seasons when it comes to God. But it's already videos out there for him, saying, so you can look those up. But my point is, book report style, my man Buddah was not a religious person. My man Siddhartha was not a religious person. The government made it a religion, and he was just trying to search for God. He was chosen. He was a prophet, and he went out there and did what he was supposed to do. He did his calling, and they glorified him. Want me to prove it? Watch this. Turn your books to Isaiah, the book of Isaiah. And this is New Testament. This was before Jesus Christ. The New Testament. I'm sorry, the Old Testament. All right, let's go right here. We in Isaiah, the book of Isaiah, chapter 2. Let's go to 8. Let's go to verse 8. Their land is, this is God being pissed at people now. God has a lot of sides to him. We got to understand that God got feelings just like we do. He is not always loving. That's a trick by Satan. God pissed. Yeah. God is like, okay, I'm tired of it. Watch this. Their land is filled with idols. Let me clear that up. Their land is filled with idols. They bow down to the work of their hands. They bow down to the work of their hands, people. Somebody had to build that stuff. They bow down to the work of their hands, no, to what their own fingers have made. See what I mean? This is pissing God off. It's rocks, people. It's rocks. And people is literally bowing down to this. People are shooting people over an American flag. And God is like, it's just nylon. In the end, God is real. He is not a phony God. He's not fake. That's why he hates fake people. He hates fake things. Keep it real. All right. Now let's go keep going further to Exodus 2, verse 20. On that day, people will throw away to the moles and to the bats the idols of silver and their idols of gold, which they made for themselves to worship. You know what I'm saying? Which they made to themselves to worship. And I'm sorry that the camera ain't focusing on the word of God. I'm sorry, but you can see it for yourself. Isaiah chapter 2, verse 8, and Isaiah verse 20. Matter of fact, read the whole book of Isaiah. People, God is not religion. All right, and I'm doing this out of love. This one right here for the intellectual folks, man, because I know I can't forget about y'all. God is real, and he is not playing. He loves you, but he is not going to make you come to him. And it's going to be real hard in the day of judgment when folks is putting out all this knowledge, man. You know what I'm saying? God bless. Kill.